Hello everybody, this is Kiran and today we are going to start on yet another topic on MySQL. We'll learn about wildcards in MySQL today. So let's begin the session. Here we go. So what are wildcards and where are they used? So they're used to search a particular regular expressions from the database. So let's imagine we know that somebody's name is ending with a particular letter. So we can find all the results based on that. Or let's say we want to find out dates or the year which is in 2000 series, starting from 2000 to 2009, let's say. So we can do that using wildcards. We'll see how to do that. We'll quickly take examples. Hang on. Here we go. So if we can start here, the wildcards are the characters that help search any data matching to a particular pattern. So we can use like or not like operations in case of wildcards. So we'll see that we'll use select queries using wildcards, and we'll use the keyword which is like, that will help us find out the matching of that pattern what we are trying to find. So let's go to our table and try to use this wildcard. So what all wildcards we know? So we'll just move forward and see. Percentage. So the wildcard percentage is used to match a pattern. It can be any number of letters or words, whatever, but wherever we are applying this percentage, after that or before that, that pattern is matched. Example, if you can see on my screen, select start from table name or whatever statement we want to write, and then where clause also we are mentioning, where some column name, like is the keyword, some pattern, then percentage. So whichever or data, it has XXX in the beginning and whatever after that will be printed. So to make it very clear, let me run this on our table so that it's very easy. So here we go. We have our table. I'll quickly use the database again so that we are still using it. So the query ran successfully. What I'll do, I'll open this table on another tab so that we can see it all the time. So our table looks like this, which will appear in few seconds. Yeah. So our table looks like this. I'll expand it so that it's clearly visible. So we have around 12 rows here. Now what I'll do, I'll run a pattern matching query here. So if you can see on my screen, I'll quickly run so the query will be somewhat like select star from table name, employee is the table name, where now we want to match. So let's say, what do we want to match? Let's go to the table. Let's say we want to find out people's name which end with A. Okay. So let's say which end with A. So what we can do is, just a minute, where first name, right? First name, or what's the column name? We have to be very precise about everything here. So first name is the column name. So the first name like, okay. Now we want our data to end with A. So percentage and A, because percentage means any number of characters there. So percentage A. So if you can see this, so we have to just not forget to embed it in our single quotes, and then we'll just do a semicolon and we'll run this. So all the first names ending with A will appear. We'll take more examples, but let me run this for now. So all the first names which ends with A are here on my screen. It's very clear, isn't it? Now you have to understand that percentage can go on with any number of letters or characters, ending with it or proceeding with it. So let's say we want to know all the cities which let's say which ends with AI. Okay, so we can do that. All the cities which ends with AI. So I can run the similar query, but this address will be like this, where first name, address, like. So we want it to end with AI, isn't it? So my query will be like this, anything and ending with AI, right? So percentage is like any number of characters. So you have to remember that, and we'll just run this query and see what is the result set. So there are there's Mumbai and Chennai which ends with AI. So all the data of all the cities which ends with AI are on my screen. So that's how useful the pattern matching is all about. We can also apply this in between, as in, let's say I want to know all the cities, just a second, all the cities address which ends with A, and or maybe which ends with AI and has and starts with C, let's say, so we can use this percentage in the beginning of a pattern, or at the end of a pattern, or in between the pattern. So it should start with C and something in between, and then AI. So that's what the pattern we want. Okay, so we'll just run it and we'll see how many cities appear. So yes, 3 rows are there, which is having C as the starting letter, then something in between, and then AI at the end. So had we had some cities starting with C, imagine, let's say we had something like C and then blah 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 AI. So this would also have been printed. So that's about the pattern matching using percentage sign. There's some other wildcard also, which is underscore. Okay, we'll go back to the PPT for that. Now, so we have already seen the percentage example. Now, let's say select statement is the standard SQL statement. You know that, where is the conditional statement on the select, which is restricting the number of data set which we are getting after running the select. Like is the operator, which is actually comparing. It's a comparison operator, comparing the pattern to match the data available. And x-axis is any specified, any, let's say we used AI or A, so that's what x-axis stands for here. And if there's no match, then it will be 0 result, of course. So you can see the examples which are given here, that select star from movies, where title like, so there's some movie which will have code in between. The keyword will be code, and then there can be something in the beginning and something at the end. So percentage means anything, any number of characters, and same percentage means any number of characters here too. But if this is the query where where title like, percentage and code, that means it should end with code. Here we could have anything after code also, but here it means it should end with code. Okay, so that's the difference. Now we have another wildcard, as I said, which is underscore. Underscore is used for one space, one character. Like percentage can be used for multiple number of characters. Underscore is only used for one spacing. So as I explained in the beginning about a year, let's say 2000, 200 underscore, that means it can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, let's say. So if you want to match patterns like that, underscore is very useful. So if you can see here, suppose we have some table like movies. So select star from movies, where year released, it's one of the columns in that table, like, and then 200 underscore. So underscore will fill in either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only one spacing. It cannot adjust 2, as in it cannot show us the year 2010. No. because we can only adjust one number there, right, or character. It's about one spacing. Okay, so we'll use this. So if you can just look at this my screen and understand this example well. So select star from movies where year released not like, as in you don't want any 2000 movies, 2000 to 2009 movies. So apart from that, all others will be shown, maybe 90s movie, and after 2009 whatever is released, it will be available. So if you can see here, 2011, 10 and 12, all of them got listed because they are not from 2000 to 2009, right? So that's about the wildcards. We'll see examples of underscore also. Just hang on. Okay, so let's say we want to see the list of all the people who are drawing salaries in 5 digits, let's say. So we can do that using underscore. So how do we do that? Where salary like is the keyword, always remember for that. Salary is like, so I can only use one space here, and I want a 5-digit salary, right? So I can use just not digit as in it should be the whole number, use 0000. That's what we can take example here actually. So let's say we want to see 1000 to 10,000 to 90,000 salary. So that's what we can do here. So when we run this, we get the list of all the people getting salaries in this pattern. Okay, or we can just write something like this to show you the example. So let's say example of underscore will mostly be useful in case of years, as I explained, but anyways, where department, or I should say last name, let's say last name like, then what I can do, let's say Umar. So I have just one space, so it can be filled with anything, right? So there's an error here. So underscore Umar, so whatever, Kumar, Sumar, whatever, any letter can be used to fit in that, and it will be printed. So I'll just run this. There's a error here in our query, so we have to know that. Select star from table name where okay, so we have written 2 column names instead of 1 column name, so there was an error, but okay, we'll just rectify that and run the query again. So it should show me all the last name which ends with Umar and one spacing is there, so Kumar. So that's how underscore and percentage are helpful and useful. So that's about using wildcards in MySQL. Moving forward, we can see the usage of the aggregate functions in MySQL. Aggregate functions are very, very useful. It's used for a lot of calculations. It helps us find out a lot of important data in the table. So any maximum amount or anybody's highest salary, maximum, minimum, so average, count, so all these are aggregate functions and they are very useful. So let's see how they are used. So aggregate functions in MySQL, so it's aggregate functions usually perform a lot of calculations on multiple rows or on a single column. So let's say you want to calculate the total salaries being given to all the employees in the company, so you can do sum as the aggregate functions, right? So count, sum, average, max, min. So these are the widely used aggregate functions. We'll see each one of the aggregate functions usages. So let's move forward. Moving with count, we have already seen the example of count in previous sessions, but today again we'll see count. You have to clearly understand this. It's sometimes confusing. Count has the responsibility to calculate the number of rows based on the conditions what we are asking it to. So count is not calculating any sum or it's not finding out the average or anything maximum, minimum. Count will actually find out the number or calculate the number of rows based on whatever conditions we are asking it to. So to be very precise, if we just write, hang on, count star, here we go. So if we just write based on our table, let's say this is our select star from table name. So here if I mention something like select count of star from table name, what should we get? We will be getting the total number of rows available in the table. So count of star from employee. Now I have to run this and this will fetch me the total number of rows available in the table. So we already know, right? It's 12. So we got 12 because count of star means it's counting all. Now let's say I apply some where clause, some condition. So select count of star from table. Now if we just apply a where clause, where, so we want to know the names of people whose salaries is higher than 80,000. Okay, so where salary higher than. Now if I'll just quickly show you the table here, so we can see here how many people are having salaries higher than 80k. It's 1 2 3 4 5 people. Oh, we have more, sorry. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So maybe some 6 people. Will run the query and see how much we are getting. 6 people, right? So this query is actually doing nothing but counting the number of rows based on what conditions we have asked it to. So here we have clearly specified that you have to only count the number of rows for which the salary is higher than 80. Or maybe if you just do equal to 80, then the results will change because we have people earning 80,000 exact, right? So in that case, the results will change. So here the count becomes 8 because there are 2 people who are earning exactly 80k. So that's how count star is used. Count is used in another format also. We'll see that. Okay. So let's move forward and see what else we can learn in the aggregate functions. Now, if you talk about the count functions, it's a special implementation, or count star is a special implementation of the count function that returns the count of all the rows in the table, right? We have already seen that. Count star also considers null and duplicates. Yeah, so count star is not going to find unique entries, or it's not going to consider, okay, this is null, so we'll not calculate, nothing like that. It's simply is going and calculating the row. Okay, so if in case of null or duplicates, count won't work as such. Now, if we see this, select count of some column name from the table name where the movie ID equals to 2. So wherever in that entire table the movie ID was 2, only those where would have been counted here, right? Now, there's another keyword which is distinct. Distinct is used for finding out a unique data set from the table. Example, to make it very clear, we'll go back to our table. Now let's say, if we see our table, we see that there are people having same names. Okay, so in our table, there are 2 Shweta. So suppose I want to print here from the table, select first name from table name, let's say. Okay, I'll just write it quickly. So let's say I have to print all the first names. Select first name from table name. So we'll get the list of all the first names which are there, even if they are repetitive. Okay, so like Kiran, Amit, Sumit, Neha, Shweta, then Shweta again, then Surbhi, Karan, Sana, and so on. Now, if I just want the first names to be distinct, okay, excuse me. So I'll be writing a distinct keyword, because that keyword is not letting us print any of the duplicate entries in that column. So select distinct first name will only show us the unique names. So see, we don't have any repetition of Shweta here, and everything else was unique already. So we got it. So distinct keyword has not let us print the duplicate values. So if this is a normal query, select some column name from table name. So we would have got something like 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, because 2 was coming maybe 3 times. So that's why it would have been printed, because we have simply asked for the column name. So it got printed. But if our query is like select distinct movie ID from table name, so it would have only given us 1, 2, 3, because 1, 2, 3 is the unique movie IDs in that column. That's what distinct is doing. It is simply removing the duplicate data set. Okay. Now minimum function is very easy to understand. We can find out minimum amongst all the data. So it's usually used for years, salaries. So we'll just use minimum and maximum function in our table, and we can quickly see it. Imagine we want to see the person's name who is drawing the minimum salary from the company. So how do I find out that person's name? So I'll just write, the query will be like select first name, comma, last name, comma, min, so salary from table name. So when we run this, we'll see that we got the least salary and the person who's getting the least salary. It will print us the name of the person who is drawing the least salary, and also what is the least salary, so min salary. So that is what is minimum aggregate function doing. So we can also print the exact minimum salary, like if suppose we don't want to print the person's name, so we can simply write another query, select minimum salary from employees. It will print the minimum salary. So if you just write something like this, select min salary from employee, will print the minimum salary, what is the value of it. So let's say 50,000 is the value. Now we can also print the maximum salary of the company, like what is the maximum salary amount which people are getting. So for that, we'll simply apply a function which is max salary. Okay. So select max salary from employee will give us a result which will be the amount which is the maximum salary. Let's say 1,50,000. So that is the highest salary which anybody is fetching. So select max salary from employee will actually give us the amount. That is the use of minimum and maximum function to find out anything which is highest from amongst a column, and minimum is going to find out anything which is lowest from amongst a column. Now what is this doing? We have seen it, like let's say select max year release from movie. So the maximum year, the highest year of release would be printed in that case. Latest, like highest as in case of, it will be in the increasing order, right? The year will always be increasing. So yeah, so latest movie will be, year release will be printed. Some function is doing the calculation, total summation of any of the columns which we want to. So let's say if I just want to find out the total amount which is being paid to the company employees, all the employees, so we can easily do it using this function. Select sum of salary, so whatever amount is being given to all the employees will be shown here. So the total amount which is being given to all the people is this. Okay, so it's the total sum of all the salaries given to the employee. So sum is doing that. That is, similarly we can also find the average salary. So if you just write AVG here, it will find out what is the average salary employees are getting. So we'll just run this query and we'll see what is the average salaries people are. So people are getting an average of 85,833 rupees. So that is the average amount amongst all the people. Some people are earning 1,50,000, some are earning 50,000 also, but the average is this. Okay, so that's the use of all the aggregate functions so far: count, minimum, maximum, sum, average. We'll see what else we have here. Average we have seen. So that's all for the aggregate functions. That is the usage of aggregate function using count statement, sum, average, min, max. Okay, so sum and average is going to work only on the numeric data. It cannot add up alphabets as in, okay, so it's only going to add numeric data. So suppose you want to run a query like, just to show you the example, select sum of first name. So this is also a column name, right? So from employee. So if it's not a numeric column, isn't it? It's just alphabets. So your sum will be 0. It will not show you anything. Okay, so the summation is 0 for the first names. So that is not going to actually give you anything out of it. So that is that's what is mentioned in the PPT, that you have to use sum for numeric data, right? Yeah. So sum and average should work only on numeric data. If you want to exclude the duplicate values, we have to use distinct. Okay, if you don't want to add up the duplicate or repetitive values, if you want to exclude all the duplicate values from the aggregate functions, use distinct keyword. The all keyword includes even the duplicates. So star is always including everything else, right? If you're not specifying distinct, it will take it as all. That's the default value. Okay, we can also use all these aggregate functions with group by. We can see those examples also later on. So that's all for today. Today we have learned about the wildcards using percentage symbol and underscore symbols for pattern matching. Then we also learn about how to use all the aggregate functions in select queries and find the result sets. We'll also learn how to use these aggregate functions using group bys in the upcoming examples. Till then, thank you.